Launches, puts up a three. Won't go. Rebound Bosh. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang! Tie game with 5 seconds remaining.
Welcome to the Ultimate Super Coach and Fantasy Sports Show. You are now listening to the Insight Fantasy Sports Podcast.
Boom shakalaka!
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Insight NBA podcast, brought to you by our friends at the Standard Squeeze. I am the Super Coach Big Horse, and joining me today we have none other than potentially the smartest man in fantasy sports. I speak of none other than not you, Mattrix, but Live My Fantasy. Matty Alley, how are you, brother?
Oh,
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mate, 100%. That name just sounds like a
well,
porn name,
that
really.
Yeah. As I said in one of our other podcasts, I don't want to have people getting in trouble for putting that into their search histories, but it is what it is. That's where you're going to find me, and you might find something else. Who knows?
And then we've also got the Matrix himself, the man, the multi-talented NBA, NRL, you name it. He's good at it, man. Matty O'Brien, how are you, brother?
Mate, you know, I live and breathe fantasy sports, and I would be doing a mock whether we were doing this live or not, to be honest.
We're all around it. So here we are. We're going to get stuck into a mock draft today. We've been throwing out different positions of where we all draft from to give our viewers, our subscribers, a bit of an insight as to what we're targeting from each position. And I guess it doesn't matter whether you're picking first or picking 12th. You could potentially win your league whichever way you go if you build your team correctly. And that's our goal here, to show you that it doesn't matter where you pick. You can creatively get a really nice team together and win your cash leagues, win your free leagues, whatever it is, to get your bragging rights over your mates. Before we start, Matty, you or both Matties, you both had history with Ryan at Astute Newstead. Great fella with the way that he looks after people with interest rates.
Yeah, look, realistically, I was having a beer with him. I was doing completely different with my work. I was working with him, and cool guy, went and had a beer with him, and then we ended up I was like, what do you actually do? Anyway, so he starts going through that, that he does lending. I was like, oh, I'm not really looking to buy a house. So he just gave me a free quote, and I ended up going with him and just saving me money every week, realistically, and gave me the money to do some renos out the back. This is where we are right now, to be honest.
It's in the studio.
Yeah. So slide into our DMs, and we can get you in touch with Ryan. I know a fair few listeners have already got in contact with him about quotes. It's an obligation-free quote, so get in contact.
You're right.
Great bloke.
Hit us up in our DMs, or you can contact him direct if you don't feel comfortable coming through us and want some privacy on 0431 766 784, or you can also email him at ryanh@eganwealth.com and use the code INSIGHT. So, guys, today we're going to be running a mock draft for our viewers. Where are you guys picking from? We'll start with you, Live My Fantasy, first.
Well, it looks like I've thrown myself as close to the smack bang in the middle as I can. Well, actually, my math isn't real good because that'll be 6. I'm going to go at 7. I'm going to have a go at 7. I've been at one end. I've been at the other end. Now I want to go right down the middle and see what that looks like, who I can get there. I remember last year it was probably about pick 8 that things started to get a little dicey, and maybe the decision wasn't as clear. I feel pretty comfortable at 7 this year. I just feel like there's more stock, so yeah. Excited to go from 7.
I'm the opposite. I reckon there's 6 clear, 6 top tier blokes at the start, and then 7th where I start getting spicy. So I start to think that you might be in a bit of trouble if the top 6 that I think are going to go in the first 6. I don't want number 7 in a real draft. So I'm keen to see how you go.
Where are you drafting from, Matty?
You can always try and hunt down.
Yeah, I'm drafting from 10. So I suppose I'm just going to take, I think, the best of the rest. I think there's going to be like I said, 6 top tier guys. Then Maddie's going to be picking. He's going to be sniping me because we do have quite similar opinions in some of these draft spots. But yeah, I'm glad I'm far away from you in the draft too, Mick. Where are you picking from?
I'm going numero uno today. I've never had the opportunity to pick number 1. So in 4 minutes' time, we're going to be dropping our draft. And yeah, it's going to be Jokic, isn't it? Number 1. He just does everything. And then from there on, it's interesting because, again, I've never picked from there. So I go number 1 and then pick 24, 25. Yeah, it'll just be interesting to see who slides, who's still around, who I can potentially get at a steal. I guess it's just a wait and see for today. So it doesn't matter where you're picking from. There's value everywhere.
And it probably should be noted that we're talking about 12 teamers. So we're talking 12 team comps. That's what we'll be drafting in. And in our mind, we'll be doing a 9 category league. So we'll go through some of our stats as we go through, sort of who we're focusing on, where we're bolstering our squads. But yeah, just should be noted that, it's a standard format, head to head, 9 category, 12 teamer.
Mr. Live
I also
My
think it's just
Fantasy,
important to note as well.
Yeah.
You're going.
Sorry, I was just going to ask you, mate, have you got a draft strategy that you're going in with?
As Mattrix knows, I love a punt, and I've just got to make sure I don't get too excited too early and try and steer it in one direction where I'm naturally going against the current, because I get a bit one-track minded. So that's my goal going into this, and that's why I'm doing these mock drafts, to practice, see what other people are picking up and where, but also to shake my sillies out. So when I get to the real draft and I've got money on the line, I'm not pigeonholing myself. I was just going to say before too, we've also got to remember, and I think people lose sight of the fact that your draft isn't won or lost with your first pick unless you do something absolutely ridiculous. But that's your starting point, and then you start making decisions from there. Between the 6th and 7th person, 8th and 9th, even 1st and 10th, I think, the draft isn't won or lost. The year isn't won or lost just on the draft.
Spot on.
I think some of the years that I've won, I can put it down to getting, say, Al Horford at the 150th pick when he was a top 80 guy. I can put it down to getting Desmond Bain off waivers. It's not actually the number 1 draft pick because it's hard to stuff up. The top 20 are essentially the top 20 best players, unless there's somebody getting injured, and we can't calculate that. We can't account for that. You can look at injury history, but I tend not to read too much into it. So
no, and I like that you brought that up, Mattio, or the Matrix for those of you that know him as. I picked up Markelle Fultz off waivers just after the All-Star break last year, and he came home really well for me. We've got a minute until we draft. It's important for our viewers to know that it is a 9-cat league. I'll be picking at number 1. Live My Fantasy will be picking at number 7, and Matrix will be picking at number 10. We'll be showing this on the screen shortly for those of you watching on YouTube, for those of you listening on Spotify, Apple Music, all those good listening outlets. We'll be talking through our picks as we go, some in depth, some not, because we're mindful of time as well. Well, let's get this show on the road.
So who are you hoping is going, while Mick's setting that up, Live My Fantasy, whatever you call yourself nowadays, Mr. Pornstash himself, Mr. Pornstash himself. Who are you hoping is still there at 7?
I'd love SGA. It'd be nice if I can get him at 7, but I'll kind of make my picks on the fly. And just back to what we were saying before as well, about the year not being won or lost based on your first draft pick. It may be based on your draft, but not on your first draft pick. There's so many smokies as well, like Larry Markkinen, just like people who are going to do things, players who are going to do things that you're just not expecting. Yeah, I just think there's so many unforeseens. You've got to be smart and try and look for people who have opportunities. But yeah, I did not predict Larry Markkinen would do what he did last season. So they're going to be out there.
Yeah, 100%. Like you've got to try and find that steal later on in the draft, and preseason and a few things like that are going to help to a certain degree, but yeah, you don't really know. It's just making some calculated risks that little bit later on in the draft.
Yeah.
I have really enjoyed that the Yahoo Plus draft scout suggestions have Desmond Bain at number 2. Like it's gonna absolutely roll me when I was hoping to get him in the late 20s in a lot of leagues. But hey, good. He's a great player. His efficiency is fantastic. But yeah, I think number 2 is a bit of a crock.
Number 2 for Desmond Bain, number 44 for Luka Doncic.
Yeah. They don't like his efficiency. Obviously, we're all okay with the punt build, but yeah.
Whoever's put this together.
Maybe you just know something we don't know, Matty.
What's that?
Maybe the guys at Yahoo know something that we don't know. Yeah. Maybe they know that Desmond Bain's going to be a triple-double threat without Ja Morant for the first 8 weeks or the first 50 games or whatever it is.
I hope so. I never draft Grizzlies players, like very rarely, because, then they can only let me down once. They're going to come to my funeral to let me down one more time.
We're also getting harder and harder for you to avoid. There's so many of them in the top 100 now. There was a time where you didn't have to worry so much about them, but you're going to have to purposely go out of your way to avoid picking one of them up. I'm
going to get Luke Kennard.
He might be nice stream for threes. He shot the 3-ball really well last year.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's not okay with a dart throw at the end, especially to look at that rotation with one of their guards out in Ja Morant. Yeah. As per usual, this turns into a Grizzlies wank fest. So,
just a quick one before we start here. We've got 20 seconds until the draft starts. Damian Lillard and the uncertainty around where he's going to be playing. Where do you expect to see him go?
10th.
Live my fantasy? Where do you think?
I was going to say 12.
Yep.
You still think he's first
12
round?
For me.
Oh, I won't be taking him then, but that's when I think he's going to go.
Yeah, agreed.
Right. Cue it up.
That's just that's a no-brainer. For those of you listening, Nikola Jokic, number 1 pick. We're doing 30-second picks. Hopefully, those that are in the draft with us stream all this along.
Yeah, so we've got Jokic. You're sitting there with Joel Embiid. We'll try for our audio listeners. We'll try and go through the picks as they're going through. But yeah, this RJ's having a bit of a think about it, and he's ended up taking Joel Embiid with the 2nd pick. Third's where it starts getting interesting.
That wasn't an auto draft.
Yeah, exactly.
Luka Doncic at 3, Tatum at 4, Halliburton at 5. SGA is still there at the moment.
Here we go, rubbing my hands together.
So yeah, this is exactly how the top 6 went that I thought.
Yep, SGA at 6. Yeah.
Dear.
What do you do?
I'm going to get this boy.
LaMelo at 7.
Yeah, it's probably a little early, but I don't know. He's on the up and up. I'm not worried about his injuries. What happened to him last year was pretty freak. So I have full confidence in him. And it gives me a nice, clean start for my punt.
For those of you listening at home, someone's gone really early at number 8, picking Domantas Sabonis. Steph Curry at 9, Giannis at 10, Kevin Durant at 11. You're not worried about Giannis at 10 after he's finished last year, Matty?
No, I'm not. I just think that he can be a perennial top 3 or 4 guy. And in there at 10th, I'm not seeing that upside in probably Kevin Durant. I'm not seeing that upside in Damian Lillard. And I'm not willing to take a risk on someone like Anthony Edwards or Donovan Mitchell at that point in the draft. So,
yep. Anthony Davis at 12, and whoever picked Davis at 12 have backed up with Jaren Jackson at 13. Very interesting. Anthony Edwards climbs up into the 14th spot. Matty, your pick.
Yeah, it's an interesting spot. It depends how risky I decide to take it. I think regardless of where Damian Lillard goes, I'm interested in him. but I'm going to take Donovan Mitchell. I've found myself taking him a little bit more often. I think Garland took a bit of a backseat to Dono last year. So, with him still getting plenty of assists, getting plenty of points, keeping my percentages good. Yeah, I'm excited to have Dono on my team.
Yep. Lillard gone at 16. The spinny boy, Pascal Siakam himself at 17.
A little too early for my liking.
Yeah, definitely.
Pascal. Yeah, me too.
See, the problem is I've got now is I really don't want to jump on another one guard, but I see Freddie, I see Harden,
You've got 8
Trey's
seconds.
there as well.
6 seconds.
You're gonna know I'm gonna
2
do it, Matty,
seconds.
every year.
Homer.
Yeah, big time.
I'm ready to get hurt again.
Yeah, and I mean, you know what he's going to do if he actually calms down or he gets what he wants. I've really shored up my assists now, so I guess I can make a decision about, maybe where my punt is going. But yeah, assists sorted.
Mikal Bridges at 19.
I'm concerned that Daryl Morey could just sit him, though. I think he's arrogant enough to.
Is there a Ben Simmons type scenario happening here?
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
Trey Young climbs to 20, Kyrie at 21. I'll tell you what, if he's still there, I'll be very happy to pair Devin Booker with Jokic.
No one's worried about Kyrie's silly business?
Nah.
No.
He's settled down. He's lost his shoe deal. Yeah.
No, he came out in the media, said he wanted to play for Australia. Come on, he's back.
I think he's ran out of minorities to talk about. So
yeah. Devin's just 22.
I'm scared of that big three eating into each other, but 22 seems very reasonable.
Yeah, that's good value.
I'm probably going to grab your boy, Matty. I reckon Bane will slip to the big horses.
Yeah, I rate it. I think this is about the point that it's okay to take him. Your percentages are good. Adding Desmond Bane keeps him really good with his shooting guard small forward.
And a bit of a risk, but I like Cat start of the third round. I think that's really nice value there.
Yeah, he's looking alive in fever. He's looking really happy. It looks like the happiest I've ever seen him. He's enjoying himself.
Yeah, that's weird. He might go back and realize how much he hates it and demand a trade.
Yeah. Play in the backwater somewhere.
Yeah. He can come play.
Where was Cat's ADP last? Where was Cat's ADP last year, Matteo?
4 or 5.
Yeah. So for him to drop to 25, nice value.
Yeah, had a stinker though.
The earliest trade we had in one of our leagues, Matty, was Cat for KD, and that was like after the first week.
Yeah. So
yikes.
For those of you listening to us not on YouTube and can't see what's going on, Kawhi at 26, Bam Adebayo at 27, Lauri Markkanen at 28, and a huge reach with Walker Kessler at 29.
I tweeted out the other day that I think John Collins is better than Walker Kessler. So, yeah, do with that what you will. That's
Paul George.
Boys, all I see are guards that I want to pick up. It's just guard city. That's all I can see. Too early for OG. I don't think he's going to come back around to me, but yeah. I'm big on this boy. I'm going to run out of guard spots, but I'm taking him anyway.
I was going to mention him. I reckon that's nice value there too. If he stays healthy with the team that they're building there, plenty of assists, he'll get plenty of chances to score. What is he, a 6'7" guard? That's nice.
Yeah, that's Cade Cunningham we're talking about. So,
Jimmy Butler, 33. Nikola Vucevic, 32. What did you describe him as? Live my fantasy?
The least sexy man in the league. I said he was a Nissan Maxima. He's just, you know what you're going to get. He's going to get you there. I was
Sure.
I was going to call him a Toyota Camry, then I realized that'd be bad for business. Mattrix.
LeBron James, 34th.
Yeah,
People
I
obviously
feel
worried
like
about him sitting a bit.
yeah, I feel like at 34, that's good value for him, and the risks. Are you going to take DeMar DeRozan or LeBron James if you're looking at that sort of position? Are you going to take LeBron or Scotty Barnes? I've just gone with the proven guy, hoping that he keeps playing.
Yep. Jalen Brunson at 35. DeJounte Murray at 36, just re-upped on a 4-year deal. Darius Garland at 37. Donovan Mitchell's back up. De'Aaron Fox at
there is a little
38.
bit.
Yeah, I had that queued up. Let me have a look.
While you're thinking, Matty, I was just saying, there's always a ping of pain when you see your guy go. Like I'm a big DeJounte Murray guy, and to see him go off the board, I mean, it just hurts that someone else got him. I didn't need him.
Evan
Yeah.
Mobley at 39. Miles Turner at 40.
I like Turner
Pretty
there.
happy. We've got a spot there. I'm sitting there with Dono Mitchell, LeBron James, Antetokounmpo, and Evan Mobley. Pretty happy with where my team's sort of shaping up at this stage. How about you,
For
Mick?
sure. Yeah, not too bad. I've got Desmond Bain, Karl Anthony Towns, and Jokic at the moment. For you guys, before we get into our next picks, Matty, I know you've just picked yours. Kristaps Porzingis, sorry, with his foot injury, does that concern you guys?
Not as much as being in Boston worries me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got bigger concerns for him, but the foot doesn't help.
How's your team shaping up? Live my fantasy.
Well, it's shaping up horribly. I think I love the players. I just don't like the team I'm building, which is a problem. But I picked up OG. I think he's going to pick up where he left off last year with Toronto. He's a person as far as defensive stats go and steals. I mean, I know that fluctuates so much, but I'm confident that he might be able to do that for me. Hopefully, get a few rebounds, which even though my guards are great rebounders in Ball Harden and Cunningham, he might help me out in that area too.
I'm not sure I see that much upside in him at 42. Like when blokes like Jaylen Brown and stuff went after him. Mick's going to take his picks. So we're going to go Matty, Live My Fantasy selected, OG Anunoby. We've got Jaylen Brown. We've got Nick Claxton. We've got Drew Holiday. We've got Brandon Ingram. We've got Kristaps Porzingis taking us to number 47. And run us through your picks, Mick.
So I've just picked up Victor Wembanyama, who dropped to the back end of the fourth round. And then straight after him, Scotty Barnes. So Barnes, I believe, without Van Vliet in Toronto, we've seen last year he flashes a bit of point guard ability, being able to run the offense. I see an uptick of assists. Field goal percentage isn't too bad. He went through a bit of a rut in his second year, but I expect him to bounce back bigger than ever in his third year.
I'm just trying to get ahead at this stage in the draft.
Yeah. So
I'm just trying to get
get
ahead in this stage of the draft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. For those of you listening at home that can't see who's drafted who, Levine at 41, Anunoby 42, Brown 43, Claxton 44, Drew Holiday 45, Brandon Ingram 46, Kristaps Porzingis 47. My two picks, Wembanyama and Barnes 48, 49. Chet Holmgren at 50, Josh Giddey at 51, Jamal Murray 52, and Gobert at 53.
Nice.
There's a lot to unpack at this time of the draft, isn't there? Like I'm just starting to queue up, and like people that I'm okay to take with my sixth pick are just getting bigger and bigger. Like I'm not as zoned in. I'm not as sure about each pick. I'm just queuing up, seeing who's there still in the 3 picks till mine. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys in my queue at the moment.
Yeah. Again, I wouldn't want to take him this early, but he just fits my build so well. I'm going to take Julius Randle there with my 55th, the 55th pick. I think against the guys that I've got, he complements them well. His field goal percentage is garbage. The rest of my team are going to pull him up in the 3 free throws. That was a mouthful. And I'm not going to win blocks anyway. What's your plan, Matty? What are you going to do next?
Yeah, so I just don't want to be a hypocrite last night because I said that I'd take Bradley Beal before Jordan Poole. None of us have a pick in between. So I'm wondering if I can get away with taking Jordan Poole and hoping that Bradley Beal slides to me. So
That'd be
obviously,
nice.
yeah, Washington guards of the past and the future. I'm still pretty high on Beal in this range. So
Yep. Brook Lopez, 54. Julius Randle, 55. Tyrese Maxey at 56 will be awesome value if Harden does move. DeMar DeRozan, the more I see it, the less I like it at 57. Jordan Poole at 58. DeAndre Ayton at 59. Şengün at 60. Ja Morant, 61, which is about right, I believe. Jarrett Allen, 62. Bradley Beal, 63. So he came back around to you, Matty.
yep,
And Jalen
pretty
Williams
happy
at
having
64.
Pretty happy. I think he's going to be a bit more efficient. I think Poole's going to get a lot of usage. Of course, Donovan Mitchell's going to get some usage. I've got 3 guards and 3 forward centers. Yeah, pretty happy with the way that's rounding out.
For sure.
Too early for Michael Porter Jr., I feel.
I mean,
Jeremy Grant going to do this year?
Wouldn't Paolo Banchero be better than them?
Yeah, for my
100%.
Beal. I'm going to get him anyway. I've got to put my money where my mouth is with him.
Yep.
I think that's about right there.
I was very close to taking him. I think he's got more upside than you watch a bloke that's similar in Jeremy Grant get taken straight afterwards, or you're going to see Tobias Harris and some of those blokes get taken. Yeah, Banchero's got a lot bigger upside and bigger ceiling than these blokes.
Yeah. And I see there Cameron Johnson just went at 69th, which is a fun number to say. Are we thinking that's a little early? I mean, I think he finished last year at about 85. I can't see him jumping up that far, 20 spots.
When he's a poor man's Chris Middleton,
yeah,
it's hard to take him before.
Yes,
I'll just take you to your picks. So we've got Cam Johnson, we've got Devin Vassell, we've got Chris Middleton, we've got Chris Paul, we've got Markel. Oh, yeah, then your picks of Markel.
Yeah, my picks. Yeah, so I've picked up Markel Fultz back end of last year. He was almost top 60 value. Chemistry with his teammates, they haven't really changed too much. Offense was running through him. He looked confident for the first time in a long time. I think that's about right for him. And I've picked up Zion at 73. I love that for Zion, given that he's got, if he's healthy and playing well, that's top 20 value right there.
Yeah, I love that.
Bridges. Too many contenders for the point job.
Yeah. White at 74. Miles Bridges at 75. Heller at 76. Tyus Jones at 77. Buddy Hield at 78. For Justin, the Herbie Bull, he's talking about taking Buddy Hield at 1. So that's about 77 late for him. Live my fantasy, your pick, my friend.
79.
I love the groan.
Yeah. This is a man who's gone down the wrong pathway, but here's another guy I like. I'll take him. It is early, and I understand that. But Wendell Carter, I think, again, that he's got the starting center job. Is he a 79th pick? No. But when I look at my team again, he works so well with them. He gets a few assists. He's not a big blocks guy. I don't need the blocks. He's at the line. He's not a detriment. So when I'm looking at my team, I'm actually quite happy with him as a pick.
Yeah.
So last night, and it will be releasing within the next couple of days, Malley and I did the Washington Wizards podcast, and I think Kyle Kuzma in and around this 80th pick. I'm pretty happy to take him.
Yep.
Yeah, I think he just fits out well with the team. Yeah.
Yeah, 82 feels good. Nice
Do you think that he's going to get more usage given that Kristaps has gone now?
100. He's like, he was at 27% usage anyway. I think that we'll see that in the 30s.
That'll bump into the 30s. Yeah.
It's him or Poole or both.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jordan Poole, he'll use it a lot as well.
Early for trade.
Wendell Carter at 79, Porter at 80, Mitch Robinson 81, Kuzma 82, Trey Murphy at 83, Jalen Green at 84, Pirtle at 85, who offers really nice defensive value. Free throws are fucking ordinary though.
So I'm in a bit of a dilemma. I'm in a bit of a dilemma. I would take Daniel Gafford, but I'm scared to take him because then I'll have 3 Washington Wizards on my team. I like D'Angelo Russell at this stage. I might have to take D'Angelo Russell and hope that the next guy, I'm not going to mention his name, slides to me. So I'll be interested to see what happens there.
Yeah.
I think D'Lo at 87, like he did have a garbage postseason, and he, had his moments, but he was still at times the 50th, 40th best player in the league last year. He's still only 26 years old. Like, man, I think that's a steal. I think that is one of the situations where people are so down on him because he's a Laker. Whereas with some other blokes, people are so high on Lakers, and often they go early because they're in the news and the papers and whatever else. I think he shouldn't slide that far in drafts.
Yeah, a bit of a poor man's Austin Reeves, you would say, Matty?
Yeah, 100.
This is another homer. I'm gonna take Trey Jones. I like the steals.
Trey Jones.
It's too early again. Like I don't want to pick him until we're on the other side. The north side of 100. He's probably about close to 110. So I've gone really quite early on him. But I'd lock myself into picking up Marcus Smart, and he was taking the pick before. So Jones is a shadow of that, I guess.
What do you guys think about CJ McCollum at 91?
Great value.
Yep.
I would have taken him before Trey Jones. I don't want to call Malley bad at fantasy, but that's what I'm saying.
Wiggins at 92, Rozier at 93.
What are you thinking, Mick?
Well, Gaff at 94, Dinwiddie I was eyeing off at 95, nice steals, bloke. Well, I'm definitely going to take this guy because I think around the 100 mark is good value for Keldon Johnson. And here I'm not quite sure. I haven't looked this far ahead.
Trouble having the back-to-back picks.
Board. Let's go to. Let's give me some 3 points and 3 points percentage. Klay Thompson.
Yeah, nice. We've got Austin Reeves.
Klay Thompson.
Yeah, I hope it is, but I think at in and around that 100 is the time to have that risk. I think that 99 for John Collins is a massive reach. I think Austin Reeves has probably taken about 15 spots too early, but I'm not super unhappy with it. And Robert Williams III.
Yeah, I think the other Collins. I think John Collins could have gone close to that mark, and Zach could have gone later.
Yeah. Oh,
we'll
see.
Certain builds.
Yeah, we'll see. What are you thinking with your pick, Matty?
I don't feel good about it, like most of this draft, but I don't mind again just looking at my build. Draymond Green. My points are very well shored up with the team that I've got. I'm going to be leaking points everywhere. He'll get me the rebounds that I need out of position. I see that they've got him here as a power forward center, which helps me again. I'm looking around at other guys that I could pick up for that need. Jalen Duren I'd prefer to take, but he doesn't work for me. Same with Onyeka Okongwu. They're both better options in the draft, but for what I need, I'm going to go Dre.
Yeah, cool. Yes. So the guy that I was hoping would slide to me, and after you mentioned him, I was upset. Johnny Collins. I nearly took him with my last pick. I just didn't think D'Lo would still be here. So even though I preferred Johnny Collins over D'Lo, I just, again, like it wasn't
That's
that long
good
ago he
drafting.
was a top 40 guy. He's proven that he could be it. He's got a new situation. Hopefully he's going to get a lot. Like the Atlanta coach tried to turn him into a stretch 4, and that's not what he is. He's really good close to the rim. He's really good at getting, I suppose, those numbers, those efficiency numbers really well. Gets his blocks. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Bit of a rundown. Melton at 104, Tobias Harris 105, Johnny Collins 106, Onyeka Okongwu 107, Scoot Henderson 108, Kevin Herder at 109, and Jalen Duren at 110.
Cute rhyme.
That's the first time I've taken Shaden Sharp in a draft. So I just don't want to pick the same guys every round. I really like taking a center in and around this space. I think there's a lot of value in those sort of Steven Adams and Jonas Valanciunas and Yusuf Nurkic, Zubac. Yeah, all those blokes. So
am I getting swept up in the summer league hype with that pick at pick number 114?
Jabari Smith Jr. Yes, you are.
I think out of my whole team, the ones I love and the ones I haven't probably picked as well, it would bring me greatest joy to see him sneak inside maybe I think top 80 or top 70 potentially with the skill set that he has. I feel like that would be the badge of honor. I'd rather I'd like to have a win with him on my team.
Yeah, I just don't think you're going to win if you're taking him. So
not him from last year, that's for sure.
He was garbage.
So yeah, let's see. Well, I'm definitely going to take this guy, and I've got 2 picks in a row. So I like this for back end out of position rebounds, especially. That's Josh
pick.
Hart at 120. And let's look for some steals. Herb Jones or Jaden McDaniels. We'll take Jaden McDaniels at 107. At 121. Yeah. Russell Westbrook, 124. Kyle Anderson, 125. Raquan Holmes, 126.
Straight out of my queue.
Do you guys want to run through who's been picked since my Jabari pick while I make my own pick?
Yeah, we can do that.
Jabari.
So Jonas, 115. Aaron Gordon at 116. Gary Trent Jr., 117. Big Williams from Charlotte at 118. Bobby Portis, 119. Josh Hart was my pick at 120. Same with McDaniels from Minnesota at 121. Brogdon at 122. KPJ at 123. Westbrook at 124. Kyle Anderson, 125. Raquan Holmes, 126. Quickly from New York, 127. Mike Conley, you know what you're getting out of him. Nice value at 128. RJ Barrett at 129.
Yeah, well,
and Steve Adams at
I auto picked after I said I'd have plenty of time. Yeah,
nice.
I'm still looking at Sadiq Bey there.
Yeah.
Anyone have any feelings about him?
Yeah, I do. They're just not very good.
Oh, good ones?
No.
He's going to get opportunity this year.
Yeah, I just think like maybe a Denny Avdia or an Obi Toppin or somebody like that is better value than Sadiq Bey. But again, at this stage, like you wouldn't be disappointed if you had to drop him in week 2, which I think is the situation you'd be in.
Yep, someone else can definitely have him. We're at that end of the draft. How about Filipino superstar Jordan Clarkson? Let's see what he did last night. He's a bad man.
He's a very bad man.
He might be worth a pickup. I think he's going to keep his role in Utah. You're not worried about Steven Adams' body and role this year, Matty, as a Memphis fan?
I mean, as in the 130th pick or whatever we were, no. If I was taking him 90th, if I was taking him 90th, I would probably have higher concerns. I'm already tanking free throw percentage with Giannis, LeBron, Mobley. It doesn't really affect me. And leaning into that tank, let's properly ruin these stats. I took Ben Simmons with the 135th pick. If he can even be a shell of his former self, I think that I'll get some value there. But I am also okay with just dropping him week 2 if I need to.
Yeah. I'm gonna go the Aries and pick up Tari with Jabari and really round out my Houston love fest and hope that he gets. Well, I feel like I've put myself in a position there. I'm going to drop one of them.
So did you
Stephen Adams,
did you take Tari Eason?
I did.
Did you just take Tari Eason?
I did.
What wouldn't you just take Armin Thompson instead? Isn't he just like a good version of Tari Eason?
He's not going to get on. No, not this year. Maybe next year. Ask me again this time next year. But the way I feel is that either Tari or Jabari's going to they're fighting for the same spot. So I think I'm in a position there where I keep the one that's doing well after 3 weeks and I drop the other one.
Yep, sounds good.
What are you going to do, Mick?
So I've picked up Matisse Thybulle at 144. As we know, one of the better perimeter players in the comp, steals, blocks at that position, fairly nice. I'd like to see him improve his 3-point percentage though. And Mr. Consistent, Kevon Looney from Golden State at 145. I was tossing up between Kevon Looney and Denny Avdia. I think Avdia is a really nice value at this late back end of the draft too.
I'm interested to see, do you think that Denny Avdia starts for Washington?
I absolutely do, yes.
Yep.
Last year, he averaged over 9 boards a game without Kristaps Porzingis in the side and had an uptick in usage. I project him to be a top 110 player this year.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm not sure I do, but I think this is a really good time to like him. I do wonder if you thought that he was, if you truly believe that he's going to be a 110 player, like he's going to be better than Kevon Looney, who you just took. So maybe there's something in your consciousness telling you that, not quite there.
We're almost finished. Got one more, Mr. Who'd you pick up?
DeAndre Hunter. I won't be keeping him if I had him in my team at that spot. That's just he's just waiver fodder. No, he's not going to do anything this year that's going to be worth talking about. He's had opportunities and he's not really been able to take a grasp of them. So,
okay, so we've all finished. There's 2 more picks in the draft to go. We'll start with you, Super Coach Matrix, NBA Matrix. Run us through your team, mate.
Mate, I've got Dono Mitchell, I've got Jordan Poole, I've got Bradley Beal. I feel like I've got some real safety with some real upside there in my starting guard spots. I've got LeBron, I've got Giannis, I've got Evan Mobley, and I've got Steven Adams. Rounding out, I've got Kyle Kuzma, D'Angelo Russell, Johnny Collins, Shaden Sharp, and I've really taken a punt with probably these last 3 picks, to be honest, with Shaden, Ben Simmons, and then Dennis Schroeder. I think Dennis Schroeder is going to at least start for Toronto, which he's going to get the minutes. So there's going to be a little bit of upside there. But look, when I have a look at the guys that didn't get picked up, which is going to make our waiver wire up, I wouldn't be upset if I had to drop Ben Simmons or Dennis Schroeder for the likes of, say, Armin Thompson or Jeremy Sohan or Lugens Dort or, say, Mo Bamba fills up a really nice spot. There's a lot of guys on the waiver wire that I think I'd be happy to drop some of those bottom 3 for if in the first week they don't pan out.
What about you, Mr. Live My Fantasy? Talk us through your team, mate. How'd you go?
Yeah, just before rolling through my team, just on what Matty said there, we've really got that luxury, I guess, playing in a 12-man comp. It isn't a luxury, as Mattrix and I both know. When you're playing a 20-man comp, those last picks are really important because you don't have, you'll have one guy at the end of your roster you're not going to keep, but outside of that, the picks are really important all the way through. But looking at my team, I'm looking at it now and realizing how young I've gone. So I've got the only remaining ball brother in the NBA at the moment, LaMelo, with my first pick. Then I've got Harden. I'm hoping pulls his thumb out or can find a way to play somewhere. Cunningham, I like him. I've got OG Anunoby. I've got Julius Randle really going into my punt field goal percentage build, shoring up my threes. I've got Banchero, Rookie of the Year. I've got Wendell Carter as a center who fits my build perfectly. I've got Draymond Green. I've got Trey Jones. I've got Jabari Smith Jr. And then I fall off a cliff with quickly Eason and Hunter, who I wouldn't plan to keep. Maybe I'd hold on to Eason. What about yourself, Big Horse?
Yeah, good. So for me, Jokic, Desmond Bain, Karl Anthony Towns, Wembanyama, Scotty Barnes, Markel Fultz, Zion Williamson at 73, Keldon Johnson, Klay Thompson, Josh Hart. And then my next three, I'm not so sure about: Jaden McDaniels, Matisse Thybulle, and Kevin Looney. Probably looking to add a little bit more in the way of 3-pointers at the back end there, but overall pretty happy with my team. Anything you boys want to add before we wrap this one up?
Not really. I was looking at it there. Like, I'm pretty impressed with how late you got Karl Anthony Towns and Zion Williamson. Yeah, I think that you've got a really well-rounded team. But I wonder if, like, again, once the season starts, you'd look at. I wonder whether, like, some of those threes that you were chasing down, like, you're chasing down some threes at the end to get, I suppose, to get to be the 9th best guy in threes. I wonder if, like, once the season started with a team like that, you'd start to trade some of your guys that are getting some threes, like Jaden McDaniels, and really shore up and become, the highest field goal percentage. Probably let go of your free throw percentage, and then, be the best at rebounding, and then work your way around it, because you only have to win 5 categories in 9 teams.
That's right. That's right.
Yep. Yeah, I was just going to add to that point. You only, in your 9 categories, if you can shore up 7, you only need to win 5 of the 9. But yeah, you'd sleep better at night knowing that you're pretty strong in 7 categories, and that most rounds you're going to hopefully go in with in a strong position. I really like both your teams. I think there were some smart picks in there. I think out of the mock drafts that I've seen, Big Horse, that was probably the most sensible Victor Wembanyama pick. That's coming from a guy who is a big Spurs fan. So I feel like, even with the bias that I have there, I think for 48, I'd be pretty happy with him there. Not 35 or 24.
No, it's too early.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've heard it here from the horse's mouth, the big horse, Supercoach Matrix, being himself and Live My Fantasy, perhaps one of the smartest blokes circling around the Australian fantasy scene when we're talking fantasy basketball. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, get a hold of us at Inside Fantasy Sports. We've also got a Discord. So in the comments below or in the description below, you'll find our Discord link. Jump in there. We're always talking all things NBA. We'll have more NBA mock drafts coming up. But join us also for NRL, AFL, NBL, which our own Supercoach Matrix will be hosting alongside the Supercoach Hawk, Robbie Kennedy. We've got some 2K basketball. We've got a lot of things coming up at Inside Fantasy Sports. But for now, on behalf of Live My Fantasy, Supercoach Matrix, and the Big Horse, thank you for tuning in, and we'll chat to you soon. See ya.
Cheerio.